should meet kids at the door and explain to them why chocolate is bad and have them and see if they give the chocolate to you. You could reverse trick or treat.
Yeah. I
Give me
like
your
that.
chocolate. Give me your
Give it to
chocolate
me.
back.
You don't want to be a murderer, do you? Give me your chocolate. I'm gonna send it back.
Come here, son. Let me tell you about capitalism and how it exploits workers.
Welcome back to Nanodosing. It's Tuesday. It's Halloween. Spooky season. Very spooky. The spookiest episode of Nanodosing of all time. Check out Arian's song, Knock Knock. It's on YouTube, right?
I don't know. Did it come out on YouTube?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's post
And
the
it's on there.
hell out of it today. It's Halloween. It's a banger. Yeah, you guys got any big Halloween plans? I'm gonna have some trick-or-treaters. So I'm gonna be stocked up. I'm gonna get some sick ass candy.
I'm trick or treating. I got my little daughter with me. She wanted to be a mermaid, so I had found this cool shirt that says "Mermaid Security," and I got like the earpiece, and I'm gonna have the shades and shit. So I'm gonna be the mermaid security walking around. It's gonna be cute as shit.
I like
That's
that.
awesome.
Just stepping up to people. Excuse me. Back up, sir.
Is there
Back
a
up,
mermaid
sir.
coming through? Excuse you.
I love Billy. What are you getting dressed up as?
I was a pink gorilla this past weekend
Oh yeah.
down in Austin.
How'd the Pink Whitney tour go?
It went great, but being in a gorilla suit in the Texas heat is wouldn't recommend.
No.
Oh, we got a cold front now though.
Oh, really?
It's fucking freezing now. So it's like 50, 40. It's my vibe.
Oh,
Except
man.
I got sick. I caught a cold or something.
54 degrees. That sounds awful, Arian.
It's 50.
Thoughts
Yeah.
and prayers.
I mean, in Austin, it was like 100 in the stands, man. But Texas put up a great game.
Yeah. What'd you think?
I was down there. I mean, they covered. I took them minus 23, like an alternate line for plus 400, or it was like plus 300, and it hit, and it was so hype. But Malik Murphy, he threw one pick that I saw, but he looked decent. He looked pretty good and serviceable for his first collegiate start.
He's just huge.
Yeah. He reminds me of Joe Milton a little bit.
Yeah. Big arm. Why?
That
What-
was his comp on TV.
Oh, okay.
Probably not the one you want, but
He
Yeah.
reminded me of like
Big,
the
big
Joe
T out
Milton
on Joe,
hype.
huh?
Joe's played well the last couple weeks.
His upside is really big. He just gotta focus in though.
I love Joe Milton. I wish he would have performed a little bit better in a couple games this year, but he's been fine.
I have a quote that I'd like to read to Big T. I don't think he's seen it yet. This is from Jim Harbaugh. We talked a lot about Jim Harbaugh last week. Jim Harbaugh says Michigan football is like field corn instead of a houseplant. Houseplants, they have their functions. They can be beautiful in the home. They can bring great beauty and value to a home. But the field corn, just drop a seed in a crack of a sidewalk and it'll burrow down and come up with energy, then rise up in a stalk-like fashion and start producing.
What does that even mean?
I love
It means
that.
Michigan football is field corn, not a houseplant.
Right.
It's grittier.
Sure. Yeah, I guess.
It's blue collar. It's a blue collar plant.
Fuck is you
I mean, some
talking
of these plants are great inside a house. You get a flower in your kitchen every now and again, a succulent you don't really take care of. You just kind of stick it in the window. Or you can be field corn, and field corn it just takes over.
Yeah,
I might
almost.
grow corn in my house.
I don't
Just
know if
like
it's-
plant.
Is that possible to grow indoor corn?
I mean, by the window, maybe just like one stalk of corn in the house. That would be hilarious.
All right, do it.
So he's saying Michigan sprouts up out of nowhere almost very unexpectedly, like some outside force would have propelled it to do that.
Yeah, I guess that's also a fair comp. Like
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah,
Just
That is
sprouts
one of
up
the-
out of nowhere.
One of the worst quotes of all time. That shit is dog shit.
I think Jim just read like a book about corn, and so he's just trying to make an analogy any way that he can about it.
What if this nigga just knows mad facts about corn? Like everything there is to know about corn, he knows. That'd be fucking hilarious.
I wouldn't put it past Jim. I think he knows a lot about a lot of things. He's got a lot of varied interests. But field corn, you drop it in the crack of a sidewalk, and it'll grow up. Basically, he's just saying that like Michigan football, it will survive anything. And it
Is that
thrive.
true though? Can you drop corn in the middle of a sidewalk and it's still gonna grow there? Is that true?
See, I don't know. I don't think anyone's really going to fact check it because we're just going to see that quote and be like, oh, that sounds true.
I mean, field corn, that's like pretty GMO type stuff, right? So it might really like be a super corn. You know what I'm saying?
Monsanto.
Yeah, like it might be able to
Football
grow
corn.
in anything.
It's football
Because-
corn.
Yeah. It's like genetically engineered corn.
Bonsai
Honestly-
tree. Now that's a plant to mirror your football team after. Fucking bonsai tree.
Bonsai tree?
Oh yeah.
But they're
What's
stunted.
cool about bonsai trees?
They're beautiful. You have to cultivate them. You have to really take care of them, or else they die. You have to water them the correct way. Make sure they get a correct amount of sunlight, or else they die. But they're gorgeous and they're rare.
I think
Bonsai
you'd
tree.
want your football program to be kudzu.
Oh, no. I think
Just-
kudzu's Notre Dame. It's everywhere and everyone hates it.
Well, but that's what you want your program to be, is like omnipresent, annoying. Like that's Georgia. Georgia, everybody hates them because they're
no.
yeah.
They're just no. That's a bad analogy. I like the
I
Notre
think-
Dame analogy.
I think Georgia is still too recent of a phenomenon.
That's what I'm saying.
Alabama could be kudzu, but I think it's Notre Dame because
I think-
it's green.
Okay.
It's everywhere. No one really knows how it got everywhere, but it just kind of started doing it.
You're thinking in terms of fans. I'm thinking in terms of like your teams.
Okay.
Like you want your teams to be kudzu, annoying to play. Just takes over literally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're
I thought you meant the program's like prowess. Okay, I'm following you now.
No, I mean like your teams.
mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah,
It's
the
an
corner
interesting-
analogy still is trash. You know.
Yeah, it's not good. You could pick a.
I think he's describing weeds.
He is describing weeds.
Right.
Actually, I just connected the dots. Michigan's colors are maize and blue.
A lot of maize,
Right, it's the maize.
jokes. I'm saying.
That's what
Yeah.
it was. He trying to suck off the fan base. That's what it is.
Okay, so I'm putting myself in Jim Harbaugh's shoes. What happened was Jim Harbaugh has been obsessively learning about corn ever since he found out that maize is the word for corn, and so he's probably gotten really into corn, knowing that it's directly intertwined with Michigan football. So he decided he's going to learn everything there is to know about it.
This quote, there's a real chance he has no clue that Michigan is currently embroiled in what may be the biggest college football scandal of this century. He's still just doling out. Butch Jones he is focused on who would they play this week?
That's a good question.
I don't
Who do
know.
they play?
Whoever it is, that's where his 100% of his focus is. He has no clue what's going on
That might be the case. He might think that they're getting all this attention because they're good and
because they're 8-0.
Yeah, like all this media coming out here. Wow, you know what? They're feeding you rat poison right now. Don't
Yep.
take it. Don't
Yeah.
take it. Don't eat the cheese, boys.
They're telling you you're hot shit.
Yeah, don't believe it. Speaking of rat poison, we're on Blake watch right now because Blake ate a mouse yesterday morning.
Oh,
Chewed it up, swallowed it. It was in a field, but I don't think it was a field mouse. And I know that in my neighborhood, there's definitely places that put out rat poison to get rid of pests. So there was a dead mouse, and Blake got in his mouth, and by the time we identified that he had a mouse in there, he just swallowed it whole. So I did find a mouse skeleton or pieces of a mouse skeleton in his poop this morning. So that was nice. That was a real treat for Blake. And then I just spent all night like Googling symptoms of rat poison in a dog. So now I'm just thinking the worst case scenario, but he seems to be doing good.
Jeez.
So it's a real mind fuck right now. Just
Who do you
watching
love
him.
more, Blake or the other dog that passed?
Leroy or Blake? I mean, that's such a tough question. The answer's got to be Leroy. I mean, I had 13 years with Leroy.
I was just asking.
Yeah, Leroy was like he was family. Leroy was the G.
Blake's not family. He's like step cousin that moved in, and we'll see how it goes.
Blake's shown a lot of promise, and I love him very much. But I mean, the history with Leroy is just way too much.
Got you.
That dog was with me for a long, long time.
Got
That was a nice attempted gotcha there, Arian.
I wasn't a gotcha. I was genuinely curious. Do you treat these niggas like kids, or like is it a different kind of love? I don't know.
Probably not the same as kids. I don't have a kid except for my fictional 4-year-old son, Chris. Which
What?
kid? Yeah, I just made up a kid so that I could just talk about how my kid will walk into rooms and see things on the TV and start to cry because Justin Fields is wearing sunglasses. Daddy, why is Justin Fields wearing sunglasses on TV? Doesn't he love football? No, son, he doesn't. I'm sorry, Chris.
You made up a child?
Yeah, I made up a child.
That's a wild thing to do. And he's 6 right now?
No, he's 4. He's been
Oh,
4
he's
for the last 2 years.
When's his birthday?
I don't know. April 1st.
Nice. Or it should be on leap year, so he's like super fucking young.
There
all
you
the
go.
time.
That's why he's 4. He's actually 16. And he's an idiot. he still cries when football players do things on television that don't seem very classy. So we're working on it.
He's either young or old.
Daddy, why is Alvin Kamara doing that big touchdown celebration? Hasn't he scored a lot of touchdowns before? Why does he just act like he's been there before, Dad? I don't know, son, because he's flashy. And he wears a look at me mouthpiece.
I need to look into that.
Trade deadline today in the NFL too. Trade deadline always seems like it's a lot of people talking about it, then nothing happens. But I would say, for the record, I would accept a trade as a Commanders fan. I would accept a trade of Montez Sweat and Chase Young. I would be willing to trade both of them to the San Francisco 49ers for Kyle Shanahan. Straight up. So, ball's in your court. John Lynch, do the right thing. Send Kyle home. But yeah,
John Lynch, is he a GM?
He's a GM, yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. Aaron, did you ever have an experience on trade deadline day where you thought you might be getting traded?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, you're probably too good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, this is true.
Did you ever pick somebody up? Did your teams ever make any moves where it's like, okay, we got this new guy coming in?
No, our team historically was known for not having any like good free agents. I think the best free agent we had, which was a really good one, Jonathan Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
But he came like during free agency, and we had Vince Wilfork, but that was towards the end of his career. But like there was never their whole ideology was built through the draft, and then they did, and they legit did that shit, and then they let everybody to go. So like we had Connor Barwin, Pro Bowler, D'Amico Ryan's Pro Bowler, Mario Williams, Brooks Reed. We had all these cats that we drafted that we let go, built through the draft and everything. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the Texans have actually had some really good players.
Great. But I think like Rick Smith was a really good GM. He just never pulled the trigger on like free agents. They was like built through the draft. Like that was their whole thing. Like, and they had a great eye for talent, but they just never executed on anything else.
You did get Brock Osweiler as a free agent, right?
That's true.
Yeah. And then I think they paid the Browns like $10 million to take him away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that probably made him a little gun shy about the whole free agency thing.
That was later, man. I don't know. A lot of ifs. Shout out to everybody.
Shout out everybody. Billy, I got a question for you.
Yep.
So Zach Wilson is awesome, right? He's a great quarterback.
Dude, he played just well enough to probably not have any trades go through with the Jets for a quarterback. So
What if they traded Aaron Rodgers? It seems like Zach Wilson's the guy.
no, they still got to try Rodgers out. I mean, so it was a super like rainy day, not the type of day to throw the football. I was at MetLife on Sunday, and I was rewatching the tape today of Zach Wilson's every throw because it sort of was hard while you're in the stadium to sort of pick up on everything. And he played, the final that final drill where they're trying to get hurry their field goal unit onto the field. Remember, it was halftime. He had trouble spiking the ball about 2 games ago, right before half, to get a field goal off. And I think they probably ran that drill so many times in practice that he was able to get that field goal off yesterday against the Giants. So like for him to execute and mature in that little time frame just goes to show that he is every day getting better, and he's, fixing all the problems that he was having before. And if you look at all of his throws, like separate from the game, he made plays that he had to when they were there, but he was working with not that much yesterday. So yeah, this guy has like adapted and is like making some serious plays on a high level with a very, flimsy backup offensive line. So, I mean, I'm happy. I think Jets fans should be happy. Got the dub. I mean, squeaked it out. Like everyone thought they were going to lose to the Giants that day, but he
So
got it out.
if you're such a big fan of Zach Wilson, though, why don't you trust him to be the quarterback?
Because I think Aaron Rodgers is, definitely got like more in the tank and like at least test him out. I think Zach would definitely sit behind Rodgers. He would want to.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
And then, but if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play well, then you put Zach Wilson in.
Yeah.
I love how delusional you are about Zach Wilson. It's the best.
No,
It
if
is
you
the
watch,
best.
if you looked at his like game tape, you'll
he
see that
hasn't-
he actually had a decent game.
he
He
hasn't
made some
been as
bad
bad.
throws. Yeah. Like he's serviceable.
Yeah. So you were at the game. Tell me your thoughts on Tommy DeVito, quarterback,
Oh.
third string quarterback of the New York Giants.
Tommy DeVito, yeah. So Tommy DeVito was in my recruiting class. We were the same age, and he played at Don Bosco over the river in Jersey. So he's kind of a Jersey legend.
Yeah, I would
So-
imagine with a name like Tommy DeVito. How did you
then he
stack
went
up?
to Syracuse.
How did you stack
and-
up against Tommy DeVito in the high school rankings?
Oh, no, he was just a guy in my area. We had much different offers coming out, but like he was a guy you just knew about.
Yeah, he was not
But-
good yesterday though.
He wasn't. I mean, there's a reason. He's like North Jersey always pulls out like some crazy like talent, and they're said to have some of the best high school football in the country, but like a lot of the guys don't end up panning out. Don Bosco is ranked pretty high.
Wasn't Kenny
Arian.
Pickett from around there?
Like it's Don Bosco.
Don Bosco, Paramus Catholic. Actually, Paramus is where.
Are you naming high schools?
Yeah,
I was mean traditionally they ain't in the top. I don't think they're in the top 5, right? It's Cali, Texas, and Florida.
yeah, but they have like it's probably the best football in the Northeast.
Yeah, say that then.
But like
Why-
North Jersey has brought out some serious talent.
Why is it that
No.
regional for football? Like, why doesn't the Northeast have any like powerhouse schools?
I think a lot of it has to do with some of the best kids end up going to Ivy League. Like I was having this conversation with
What?
I love the look
No,
on
like-
Aaron's face right
What you mean?
I know this- I know this is weird to say, but like one of the reasons why the Northeast doesn't have like major, like big college football, I think Penn State's probably the biggest fan base out of that area. And that's like debatably not the Northeast.
Yeah.
I think it's because up north, like the East Coast, they usually that's a basketball
Yeah.
mecca. You know what I mean? Like they focus really heavily on basketball, and so
Oh.
then the weather, like it's cold as shit. Playing football out there, it's playing football when it's cold hurts. It absolutely hurts. The hits hurt a little harder. When you catching balls, it hurts a little harder. Everything it hurts. It is painful.
And also because like Texas, California, they can play football all year. So like there's no 7-on-7 tournaments as much in the Northeast, whereas like the 7-on-7 in the South and in California is insane. It's like a
That's
whole
what
7-on-7
That's
season.
what the beginning of I think it's Malcolm Gladwell's is it Tipping Point? He talks about why so many hockey players are like come from Canada, and he talks about why so many hockey players also come from like they're born in a certain period in the year
Mm-hmm.
because like they're older than everybody around them, and then it gives them a chance to mature and grow into the system. Like he goes to it in detail, but it's a pretty interesting take on it.
Yeah.
In
If you're
hoc-
gonna have a baby for sports, you have that baby in like early September.
No, in hockey it was
I forget.
January because the club teams would go by year that they were born as opposed to school teams. That
Right.
was
Yeah,
what the
no-
Outliers was about.
Was it Outliers? Okay.
Yeah. And then football players are born in September because of
Yeah.
the school related cutoff. Like Tom Brady's born in late August.
So am I.
Yeah. So like those are the oldest kids.
But
'Cause
see, I was different though. So I was like younger than everybody. I graduated at 17.
Oh,
So I think what did me in was I had an older brother, and I would always play with him and his homies, and I was just like, I was the little runt.
Mhm.
They would always try to hit me. They didn't take it easy on me, And so I had to adapt. I had to learn how to like move, stick and move.
Yeah, if I'd been born in September, I would have made it to the NFL.
Easy,
Stupid January birthday
easily.
really screwed me over.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot going on with the NFL and the trade deadline and all that stuff. Nothing ever happens though. It's going to be like a couple boring trades. Probably the Commanders will trade a very good player that I'll be sad about. But then, does this make me a loser? Because I really do. I will root for a former Washington team member on a different team because I want to see them have success. Like Trent Williams, I'm always going to root for that guy because we fucked him over. He was a great player. He played for us when our team was pretty bad for the most part. And I want to see him go win somewhere else. Like I root for the guys that used to be my guys, like the Phillies that used to be on the Nationals. I root for those guys. I root for, like you get to know somebody and then they leave town. You want to see them have success.
Daryl Rivas.
Makes you human, man.
All right.
I used to root for Rivas
Oh, yeah?
when he left the Jets because he was just such a beast.
Yeah, he was really good. That guy was really fucking good.
I think he's arguably the greatest cover corner of all time.
Rivas, Dion, Champ Bailey probably up there.
Champ. Yep. I think he didn't have as high as long as a tenure as probably Champ, but like at the peak, it wasn't. I mean, he was locking down the best of them. I'm talking about Megatron prime, Andre Johnson prime, Randy Moss low at the end, but still Randy Moss was still Randy Moss. Matter of fact, no, that was one of Randy Moss's best year.
Yeah, Randy Moss destroyed Rivas that one game.
I feel like
yeah, no. What did he really? No.
Yeah, he had like 2 touchdown grabs on him. It was like the
That's
2007.
When he pulled his hammy.
That's when he had that famous one-handed catch. It was like
that's when he pulled his hammy. Yeah.
Oh,
I think
Rivas in that game pulled his hamstring
on that play. That one-handed catch.
Oh,
Rivas also first team bag getter. Like he knew how to play the game.
Yep. Well, he bet on himself.
Yeah.
But it's easy to do as a corner, though.
Is it? It's easier at that position?
Easier to do. You got no impact. Like you can't do that as a linebacker or like a running back or an interior lineman. Like there's no contact out there. So it's like you kind of just you on an island.
Mm-hmm.
So it's easier to say I'm a bet on myself because you don't have a lot of contact with people. So you ain't really like banging. So it's easier to say I bet I can do this job at a high level.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because the injury risk is lower.
Way lower, yeah.
So there's less of a risk if you.
Yeah, you ain't in the trenches, yeah.
I do feel bad for Kirk Cousins going into a contract year. I never thought I would feel bad for Kirk Cousins because he's gotten paid so much money. He's also first team all bag getter, and he was about to hit a big payday, but popped his Achilles. So I don't know. I feel like the best move would be for the Vikings to keep him around, but I don't think the Vikings would keep him around because they didn't sign him to an extension before the year started. So mentally, they might have moved on already from him. And he was going to get another big contract from someone, and I don't know what it's going to be like for him. So I do feel bad. He has made a lot of money, so it's not like he needed this contract to survive the rest of his life or to have his kids go to college and be set up. So that's good, but at the same time, like he was playing probably the best football I've ever seen him play in the last couple of weeks, and then Achilles. It's tough.
Do you think he might retire? Like, is that on the table for him or no?
I don't think so.
Like, he's 35.
I think
he's
gonna
way
to
too jacked to be retiring.
Got it.
I mean, he's got another $75 million to make.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Retiring.
Kirk Cousins, what do you think his lifetime earnings are?
I looked it up when I was watching quarterback. It's so much.
I think he's made like
250, something like that.
Something like that. That sounds right.
God.
So he's going to make $300 million.
That's insane.
Dude, and he hasn't.
And he still shops at like Sam's Club and Target.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but the
and
craziest
Kohl's.
thing is how many playoff wins does he have?
What?
We don't need to get into that, Billy.
Yeah.
It's valid.
What?
It's a valid question. I don't think he's won a playoff game. Has he?
But it's crazy, like compared to like great
Minnesota?
players and highest paid players. Is there that much of a correlation?
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But like, think about it.
I've
like,
thought
what
about it.
quarterbacks have had the most success but have gotten paid way less?
You're,
and Kirk
you're
Cousins.
using this measuring stick that makes zero sense that analysts love to throw around.
The highest paid is Patrick Mahomes, who's won 2 Super Bowls.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts went to a Super Bowl. Looks like he'll probably win one at some point.
Joe Burrow.
Went to Super Bowl.
Joe Burrow might stink.
What? You think Joe Burrow? Did you watch the game yesterday?
No, I don't watch.
Oh, well,
NFL
he doesn't
games
stink.
that aren't the Falcons.
He doesn't stink. He's good.
Isn't he having a bad year?
No, he was hurt
He
for
was
the
hurt.
first like 4 weeks.
Best abilities, availability.
Yeah, and now he's healthy and he's awesome again.
He had 283, 3 touchdowns. I mean, that'll do.
If you watch the game,
185, 2 touchdowns and a pick the week before.
wait, Big T. Also, how many rushing yards did he have yesterday?
I don't know. It's not on
You
the
kinda-
first sheet.
He
He has
glossed
a
over that
regular
one.
season quarterback rating this year of 87.
Yeah, because he was injured in his first like 3 or 4 games he was playing, which is crazy to me that he played himself back into shape through an injury, and he did that by playing more football.
Also, what's their record?
4 and 3.
Yeah,
4 and 3.
yeah, again, he was very injured the first 4 games.
Jury's out.
Okay. You didn't watch the game, Big T. He's good. He's really good
Jury's
now.
out.
Okay. Jury's out on Joe Burrow, according to Big T. You would suck a dick for Joe Burrow on the Falcons.
What kind
No,
of
I would for him to have gone to Tennessee, not for the Falcons.
what size of dick would you have sucked for Joe Burrow to go to the University of Tennessee?
In 2019,
Yeah.
well, that's difficult because they had Chase and Jefferson too. But like to get that team,
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
name your price.
We talking BBC.
You name it. To go 15-0.
It's like Firefest.
Yeah.
bring the
I mean,
water.
that's a arguably the greatest college football team of all time.
Yeah, I'd say it's like top 2, maybe top 3.
I say 3. Yeah, I say 3.
Top
And
2.
they were coached by Ed Orgeron.
Yeah, the greatest football
mean-
coach of all time.
Sure.
He's the greatest voice of all time. That's for sure.
I do love the fact that Coach O will always be remembered for being the head coach of one of the best college football teams of all time.
It is hysterical.
It's
Like
awesome.
they were. I think that's proof that like Orgeron is not a horrible coach, but he's not a good one. That team could have been coached by you or me.
No, hey, Coach
and would have gone 15.
Coach O had the boys fired up week in, week out.
You couldn't have if your only job, you had all these assistants to take care of the entire game plan, everything. Your only job was to make a pregame speech once a week. You couldn't
I
get
could
the
not
team
hold
fired
a
up.
candle to Coach O and his ability to do that.
Mm-mm,
He's like
no.
eating worms in the locker room. He's taking his shirt off.
He's
like,
special for
punching
sure.
walls. Yeah, Coach O was the right man for that job. He was the right man for that job.
I don't think Brian Kelly could have done that.
No, Brian Kelly'd have him.
Yeah, he could have.
No.
they'd be
That
all
was
like,
crazy. That roster was crazy. Like this shit was insane.
yeah, but they were great because of Coach O. No, I'll put it this way:
Why aren't his other teams great? Because
they
of him?
were a great team. They were special because
Yeah,
of Coach O.
I would say they're legendary.
Special
No.
team. Just the whole vibe in Baton
I'm-
Rouge
I'm-
that year was impeccable.
My whole disposition is MJ's Hall of Fame speech. Players put coaches in the Hall of Fame. Any real coach will tell you that too.
Yeah, I'm telling
I
you,
think
Coach O
just-
made him special though.
Having Coach O with that accent at LSU, like, just embodied the whole vibe of almost Bourbon Street. That adds. That's a value add right there.
The vibe of Bourbon Street. I would say it was more like the vibe of rural Louisiana.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
they were country as fuck. That besides Joe Burrow, who's not really a country dude, that team was so country.
Where are you from?
Joe Burrow, Ohio.
Athens, Ohio, which is as country as Ohio gets.
Is it really?
Oh my God, yeah.
Well, he might be country then.
Athens is where Ohio University is. It is like in the sticks of the sticks.
It was a great team. It was so fun. How did Urban Meyer not recruit that guy, huh? Crazy to think that Ohio State missed out on Joe Burrow. I'm doing my Colin Cowherd impression right
Yeah,
now.
that was a very funny interview.
What happened? I'm not.
Burrow started at Ohio State, and so
I didn't.
he never played, but he was there with like Cardell Jones and Dwayne Haskins, and or JT Barrett maybe, and Colin Cowherd was interviewing Urban Meyer one time, and he goes, Joe Burrow's from Ohio. Like, how did you miss out on that guy? How does he not go to Ohio State? And Urban Meyer like couldn't tell if he was joking or not. And he goes, "Oh well, he did go to Ohio State. Like we had him, and then he transferred after he had all those guys in front of him."
That's funny as shit.
Yep. What else we want to get into today on nanodosing? The Bible? You want to get into the Bible? I did read Genesis.
Oh no, I thought we wasn't doing it because y'all wanted to start at the.
Oh, that's
at the new
right.
studio.
Yeah. So that's the new thing we're gonna do at the new studio. We're gonna do a weekly book of the Bible. I did read Genesis. Is it Genesis 1?
It's just
Hang on.
the book of Genesis.
You read the book of Genesis from this morning to now?
I read Genesis 1.
No, that's not it then.
Okay, so I have.
You
got
gotta get
more
to-
do.
That's some more reading to do.
You got to
brother.
get to Exodus.
Got it. Okay, that's way more reading. To
Yeah.
do. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
You know what?
Well,
Can someone explain to me the number system?
Yes, I can.
okay.
What do you mean? Like the
Like
chapters?
Psalm 328.
So there's
It's-
books
it's
which
like-
are
and there's like
Okay.
one-
Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers. Then those are broken down into chapters. Each one has however many chapters they have. Then each chapter has verses.
Is the Bible a chapter book?
Yes,
Yes,
literally.
Technically, yeah.
Good to know.
But you got to get all the way.
Now that would be impressive
Exodus.
if Jesus and them and his conglomerate had some pictures to go along with his books. That would
Yeah.
be. Now we're talking.
I had one.
Those
in-
are harder. To,
I think there
Now
are
we-
some.
But now no, I'm talking about when the first rendition. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
when
the
it was-
OG?
when it was inspired. When you talking about the firmament, we can clear a lot of this shit up if you put some pictures in that motherfucker. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I bet they're probably like not in the Bible, but I mean back 2,000 years ago, what else were people drawing? I'm sure there was a ton of illustrations to
Dragons.
go along with it.
You know what's crazy? So like monks, right? They were in charge of like copying down the Bible and stuff. Just like random virgin dudes who would just spend all day just copying books. Like that was what monks did for the majority of their time when they weren't praying in like the medieval period. They were always drawing and stuff, right? In like a lot of these medieval pictures, they'll like draw tons of real animals, but they'll put unicorns and dragons in. Like in like historical, like they'll be painting like historical events and just random dragons, random unicorn. Like,
Do you think that there were dragons and unicorns?
no, I'm just asking questions. Like, because across almost all cultures, there are dragons, and people just randomly would draw them.
Yeah,
Across
there are.
all cultures. That's a bold claim. Across all
Yes.
cultures, there are dragons. Every
Yes.
culture that has ever been, there's been dragons. I
Well,
don't think that's true.
name a culture.
Ours.
Which one? Like there's examples of dragons on every continent. There's like Quetzalcoatl, which was the Aztec dragon. There's wyverns, which were like recorded in Africa. And then there's like, European medieval dragons that like people slayed. And there's just an example of like some giant reptilian in every continent.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That's our culture. There are dragons in there.
I'd say that's more like medieval European type dragons.
When did it take place?
Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
No, it's not historical, but it's like
Well, I know
it's
that.
like a fantasy.
But is it supposed to be in the past?
Quetzalcoatl.
Fucking that shit up. He was the god of the crops. That's
Yeah.
that's not like a folklore of there being a big ass reptile. That's just
They
like
used to see him flying through the sky.
we know that isn't true.
Do we?
Yes, unequivocally, we know that wasn't true. That there was a giant reptile flying through the sky planting crops, nigga.
But there's
I don't-
dinosaurs.
Prove it, Arian.
No.
You're afraid to
just
debate
saying.
facts, Arian. Sorry, you can't back up your theories with logic.
It's facts, Mr. Shapiro.
There was what about Mesopotamia? Do they have dragons?
Yeah, freaking what's his face fought one. You know who I'm talking about?
I
don't.
Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh fought a dragon.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. I know that Chinese, they have dragons are very important to them, like the Lunar New Year. The stage of the moon, I think an eclipse is a dragon like eating the moon and then barfing it back up. That's
Bro,
pretty much what Blake's doing right now with a mouse.
Gilgamesh
1,000 years from
fought
now,
Humbaba.
dragon.
Haven't we had this discussion before? Because Billy talked about the difference between Asian dragons and
Yeah,
other
he's-
dragons.
He's like he's really for the Europe dragons, but he wasn't really fucking with the Asiatic dragons. I
No,
remember
I'm
this
down with them.
conversation.
It's just really crazy how like
European dragons
closely-
were like super cerebral and
no,
High
no.
motor guys, high motor
Coaches on the field,
high,
in the sky.
Yeah,
Tell me about
Humbaba
that.
the
Tell me about-
dragon.
Tell me about the African dragons. What
I'm
kind of
pretty sure they're like
athletic?
no, I'm pretty sure they're wyverns. They're the ones that have like no front legs.
No, the wyverns. I can't believe I'm about to educate you on dragons, Billy.
Wyverns have
wyverns
just-
have separate wings and they've got 4 legs.
no, I'm pretty sure wyverns only have 2 legs.
Okay, look it up. Maybe I'm wrong.
People are
I might-
asking
no,
if,
I might be
if
wrong.
Billy knows ball.
I might be wrong about
Yo.
this.
Yeah, wyvern has
PFT,
2 legs,
dude.
bro.
I thought you were right. You're
2-legged
fucking
winged
wrong.
creature
Okay, I don't
resembling
know-
a dragon, bro.
I don't know dragon.
Come on,
Dude, you
I
don't
forgot.
you don't know
What part
shit
of-
about dragon.
What part of Africa are these dragons from, dog?
So African dragons. Oh, so like there's tons of different ones. There's ones in like the Congo that are more look like giant snakes.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so the traditional belief system of West Africa's Dahomey people contains Ado Hoedo, the rainbow serpent or cosmic snake who assisted the creation of the earth by transporting the god Mawu through the cosmos. It fed on iron to sustain itself and secreted excrement. Became
Little
the
science in
mountains.
there.
Yeah,
The creation of the earth fed on iron.
yeah. After the creation of the earth, the cosmic serpent was instructed by Mawu to become its support and allow it to rest upon its back. The
Sound like
oceans were cre-
Maui.
Yeah. When the iron under the sea, yeah. So when the serpent's food source was depleted, he's going to eat the earth. Yeah.
Hmm.
Love that. It's about time. Come get us,
And
dog.
What about Apollo? He was he would also go across the sky, but he wasn't a dragon, right? He had a golden chariot.
Were there any Greek dragons?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it was because Apollo, was he Greek or Roman? But I know that he had the golden chariot and he was the sun god, right?
Oh, there's
Yeah.
tons of dragons in
He
Greek mythology.
rode his chariot across the sky.
That sounds pretty sick, actually.
You know what's crazy about
I mean, you
Greek
gotta do that
mythology,
shit
dude?
every day. That should be after a while. You're like, all right, my nigga. I'm gonna take a
Just
different
pimp-
route.
He's pimping his chariot.
You know what's crazy though? Like some stuff in Greek mythology, like for example, centaurs were just like descriptions of men on horseback before like horseback riding was widespread. So like the roving band of like horsemen who'd come and like raid your village, they thought they were centaurs.
They thought they were half human, half horse.
Yeah, because like I mean, if they come in the middle of the night or like super fast and you've never seen someone riding a horse before, you might think that they're half human, half horse.
What about a minotaur?
Dudes with helmets.
Okay. Giant dudes
Like-
with helmets.
I mean, they had that in the Northmen. There was just like a guy who wore a bull's head before he went into battle. And it
When-
was in Gladiator.
When people were describing like minotaurs and the Greek gods and shit at the time and telling these crazy stories, were their friends like, yo, like, why are you bullshitting this? Like this clearly didn't happen? Or do you think people were like, yes, yeah, no, Zeus did come down from the clouds and he did impregnate that woman?
Well,
Hey, very similar story right now that people believe. So
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, like think about it. There was I saw this TikTok and it was just and it went viral and it was just a guy being like, I see a giant on that mountain. And people were like, TikTok has just made people have the intelligence of medieval peasants because they just like believe in mythological shit.
I mean, you'll hear a lot of atheists make the same claims that religion is very similar. It is. They make some wild ass claims. Like shit is kind of wild when you think about it. Like God comes down and impregnates a woman. That's a wild thing that happened allegedly.
Macrodosing is brought to you by nuts.com. I love nuts.com. They got cashews, almonds, pecans, pistachios, dried mangoes, crystallized ginger. That might be my favorite. Dates, jelly beans, jawbreakers, root beer barrels. The variety is vast at nuts.com. Nuts.com is your one-stop shop for freshly roasted nuts, dried fruit, sweets, pantry staples like specialty flours, and more. Their wide selection means there is something for everyone. Nuts.com offers plenty of gluten-free options, organic choices, and other diet-friendly products. Whether you're looking for something sweet, savory, or if you need to stock up on everyday cooking essentials, you're bound to find something to try. At Nuts.com, quality is their top priority. They got the best stuff. They roast their nuts and pop their corn the same day it ships, so they reach you deliciously fresh. Satisfaction is guaranteed because they know that their stuff's that good. Mad Dog, you were just talking about how much you love Nuts.com. What's your favorite thing?
I went through. They sent us a little pack of everything. I got dried mango. Went through a whole pound of dried mango in 3 days. Didn't even know I liked dried mango.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely loved it. That and the chocolate covered gummy bears.
Everything's good at Nuts.com. You can shop a la carte at any time, or you can opt into hassle-free auto deliveries so you never run out of your favorite items. That's great, having just scheduled snacks that arrive to you. I love that. If you're already stocked up at home, they also sell directly to businesses. So if you're a business looking to add to your repertoire, Nuts.com might be the best way to do it. Right now, Nuts.com is offering new customers a free gift with purchase, and you get free shipping on orders of $29 or more at nuts.com/macro. So go check out all the delicious options at nuts.com/macro. You're going to get a free gift and free shipping when you spend $29 or more. Again, that's nuts.com/macro. It is delicious stuff. Love nuts.com. Big T just sent something.
Yeah,
in the
have
group
y'all
chat.
seen this? I hadn't seen this till just now.
I refuse to watch that.
Oh yeah, I was gonna
It's
mention it earlier.
insane.
So. do
Oh
you wanna
no, I'm
say
not
what you
watching that.
sent?
What the fuck?
Don't
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not
don't.
watching it.
So this guy, I guess this is in England.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a hockey game, and this guy like fucking kung fu kicks this guy in the throat.
he
and it
he
killed
didn't
him.
do it on purpose. Like he got hit.
Ah,
No, there's a whole controversy online right now because they want the guy. I'm not going to mention his name because he's gotten so much shit online already that they're saying that they want to charge him with manslaughter because Adam Johnson, RIP, unfortunately got struck in the neck with a skate during a hockey game in England, and it was like a semi-pro league. A lot of guys I know who play hockey, they go to play hockey overseas because it's a fun way that you can get paid to play professional sports. And basically what happened is he got his throat slashed by the blade and unfortunately did not make it after losing a lot of blood. But, now a bunch of people are being like, this guy definitely did it on purpose. But if you watch the video, the guy gets, this isn't the first time this has happened, that someone's been slashed in the neck with a skate playing hockey and has passed away. I think that's why in Canada, everybody has to wear neck guards when playing hockey because to prevent this thing from happening. And, when guys are playing a sport with literal knives on their feet, I think you might see people try to push to get neck protectors to be widespread across all levels, because even though it does suck to strap up and wear a neck protector, like shit like this does happen, even though like there's thousands of hockey games going on every day across the world. And just this one freak incident just shows that it can happen to anybody. But
Yeah,
it's a
I've
really
watched
sad
a lot
story.
of hockey games. I've never seen someone's skate come up above their hip.
It happens occasionally. And it looks like, so I saw this one clip and it cuts out before any of the blood or anything like that, but it shows the play and it looks like there's some contact in center ice and I could see somebody's leg coming up that high. It's tough to say that it's intentional. Like I think more often than not, in a sport where you're gliding across ice, people can take a video and watch it and say like, oh, they can like misassign intent to different things. It happens all the time if there's like a borderline dirty hit, but the speed at which it's happening is so fast that it's very difficult to say like, oh, this was clearly intentional. It looks like he got caught up. I don't know if he got like made contact with the guy's leg. That's why his leg flew up, or if he was trying to avoid contact. He was a little bit off balance, but I don't know. I don't think we can say that's intentional.
Yeah,
looks
and
like
Is
it's
that
an
what
unusual
manslaughter is,
play.
though? Manslaughter is unintentional, isn't it?
It's
But
unintentional.
I think you have to like do something reckless, and I don't know that this guy did anything
you
reckless.
don't think that's reckless?
You can't tell if somebody like touched his leg as he was on one skate. Both these guys were going so fast that it's impossible to say.
I think at a minimum you can say that is absolutely reckless.
Yeah, I think it's an unusual play. It's unusual for sure. But
No,
I don't
but
know.
I don't know.
like-
I've seen people go to jail for less, dog. What is that?
Sorry,
Billy's dog.
someone's at my door.
Oh,
I don't know who.
I don't. I've seen people go to jail for less, man. Like they was like, I don't know, hit somebody with a car or whatever. It's manslaughter. That's what that is. I mean, I'm not saying man should go to jail for life. I'm not saying he go to jail at all. I'm just saying that's what manslaughter is.
I thought manslaughter is, as a future bar exam passer, manslaughter, you have to be doing something either willfully neglectful, or you have to be acting so far out of the bounds of like a reasonable circumstance that the death is your fault.
The crime of killing a human being without malice, aforethought, or otherwise in circumstances not amounting to murder. I mean,
Yeah.
So that could be anything.
I guess it could.
That's
be
what I'm
anything.
saying. I thought that was a little definition of manslaughter. It means like, so there's voluntary manslaughter is intentionally killing another person in the heat of passion, and then there's involuntary manslaughter is negligently causing the death of another person. I think it would be involuntary manslaughter.
No, but
It means
negligent
you
though.
kill-
That's the big
You know-
word.
You are negligent. That is negligent.
No, you're not necessarily negligent just because you kill somebody.
You've watched hockey games. How many times
mean,
have you seen a skate come up
explain-
into somebody's throat?
I've probably seen it like 5 times.
Really?
but
Yeah,
You're taking
it
out the
happens.
first part is the
It happens
intent.
occasionally.
You're taking out the first part. Like, I think at the very definition of killing anybody, it's negligent. If
Not
you kill
necessarily.
anybody, I mean, explain how.
Okay, so let me think of a good example here. If you're driving your car 25 miles an hour down a residential street and somebody jumps out from between 2 parked cars and lands underneath your tire and dies, that's not necessarily involuntary manslaughter because you're not doing anything negligent. There was nothing that you could do to stop that. You're driving the speed limit and you didn't see somebody. That's not. So the word negligent is a big deal. Negligent means that you're acting outside the bounds of like what the standard or convention would be.
That's correct. So let's say, even you're right, I've never seen this happen before, but let's say you're right, you've seen 5 times ever somebody's skate has come up near somebody's throat. How many hockey players skate during a game over the course? Tens of thousands.
Yeah, it's very unusual.
So if it happens 5 times out of tens of thousands, you're being negligent.
But the question is like, was this guy doing anything crazy that made his foot come up, or was it because of a normal incident in a hockey game, which is like a center ice collision?
And I'm
threw
not
his body off
advocating
balance.
for, like, I'm sure this guy feels horrible.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's what you preface.
but
that with.
I've never seen anything like that happen.
So
If
That's
you-
just-
It happened
People
to a
get
goalie.
flipped over in hockey games. Like,
Yeah.
then their feet go in the air. Like this guy, what it looked like happened is he sort of got one skate tangled up with the first guy he hit, and then his leg sort of flipped up or he kicked out to sort of balance himself.
Okay, so
And-
I mean, this is the only reason why I'm even arguing this point is because a man is dead. Are we saying there should be no consequences for a human being being gone? Is that what we're saying?
Well, in a freak accident,
That
people are
That's what we're saying.
People
I
are-
don't think that should be the case. Like, if,
like,
like
Eric-
my people died. I don't know, bro.
So,
people
Aaron,
are looking to the guy's penalty history and being like, this guy had the most penalty minutes out of anyone in the league.
I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to say he did it on purpose at all, because that would be me putting intentions on that man's heart. And I don't know, cuz I'm just saying a man was dead. Let's take it. Let's start with the premise that it was an absolute accident. But we then setting the precedent that if somebody dies, there's nobody responsible.
Sometimes, like for example, in that Bills-Bengals game
no,
last year on Monday Night Football, who was it on the
Yeah.
Bengals? Was it T. Higgins or I forget who it was on the Bengals?
Right,
But
right.
he ran into DeMar Hamlin. His helmet made contact with DeMar Hamlin's chest, caused a heart
Yeah.
arrhythmia. DeMar almost died. His heart did stop. But if DeMar Hamlin had passed away, are you saying that the Bengals player should face consequences for that?
I don't know. So this is I guess my dilemma with it is we have always set a different precedence for sports happenings with the law, right? So if there's a brawl in the sports, ain't nobody, getting a misdemeanor
Yeah.
for that, right? Because that's the sports arena, right? But we have always compartmentalized sport violence with, societal violence. And I guess that's the line that we're willing to let pass here. Is it as long as it happens in the arena where we agree on these rules, people can die
I think
without
if it,
any repercussions.
it just goes back to whether or not negligence was at stake. So, like, if this dude, okay, so hypothetically, and this is not what happened, unless I'm just like pulling this out of my ass and it's correct, but if this player had if he sharpened his skates way more than the standard, like if he was known for having like the sharpest skates in the world, and that was his thing, he's like, I like skating with abnormally sharp skates, and then something like this happens, then yes, then that would be negligence, and you could probably do a manslaughter charge for that. Also, I don't know anything about British law, our law in general, just like as a broad blanket statement. But if he's just out there playing hockey like you normally play hockey, and an accident happens that's common to the game, then I don't know that you can say like, oh,
But again, that's not common.
it's not common. But also from the angle, you can't tell if his leg got hit at all. Like Big
yes,
T,
you can.
If you no, it's too far away, and he's very close to making contact with that one person. And if you're skating and you get hit and you're on like one leg, your body will absorb that momentum and go flailing in very weird directions. That's just like you're skating on a blade, going super fast. Your body's going to react to it. It's like physics.
It looked
I don't
like
know,
he was
dude.
trying to balance, like the leg does kick up inadvertently. And like, I don't know much about skating. I've watched a decent amount of hockey. Like that is sort of a thing off balance skaters do to try to get their balance.
And listen, if this guy intentionally threw his leg up to try to stop the player, then yes, that probably should be manslaughter if he like intentionally did that. But I don't know that we can say that on the video. In fact, I would say it's likely that it was not intentional based on the video.
I don't think it was intentional necessarily, but it is insane.
Yeah.
And I've never seen any hockey player have their leg up that high.
So there was a goalie in the 80s, Clint Malarchuk.
Yeah, so I just saw that video. Radically different.
Yeah, there was also a play. It just happened like a week ago, I think, in the Bruins game. A guy in the Bruins took a skate to right above his eye and just gashed his forehead open.
Then
And there was another
the
player.
There's a high school kid, a junior varsity player who in Connecticut got his neck skated over recently, like within the past year and a half.
Like he was
That
on the
is also-
ground.
Yeah, he was on
So
the ground.
that's
and a guy
obviously
skated
very
into him.
different also.
I think it's just wild. Like, just as like if you step back, if you zoom out and forget that it's sports, that we have different like laws according to a sports arena than we do like society.
That is true. Like in hockey, you can fight, and it's not a crime.
In every sport you can fight and it's not a crime.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, keep it between the lines. Like
I
everything
actually
that happens in a football game, every play, there's like 15 counts of assault.
More, way more.
Yeah.
There's also there was actually another hockey incident where a guy hit a guy after the play was done that got criminal charges placed.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this isn't the first time that hockey's been in this legal gray zone.
And Arian's frozen right now, but it looks like he's a philosopher, and he's just he's really thinking through a thought right now, postulating on something, putting it out there. Also in NASCAR, they speed.
True.
NASCAR.
It's just reckless driving everywhere in NASCAR, but because it's a NASCAR race, it's fine. Yeah,
Really sad.
it is. It's very, very sad.
I think they should put in neck protectors, make everyone wear them, because I know it's like tough guy mentality. Like, oh, I don't need a neck protector. Like, but it would prevent this happens. Like, I wouldn't say once every year, but like
And it
it
happens
happens
once.
a good
that's enough.
amount.
I mean, the NHL,
From-
they don't even wear full masks.
Yeah, they don't have to.
That's so,
Mhm.
that's just so crazy to me that they don't wear anything like on their neck or cover their face fully.
It is, and which
That just is a crazy thought in my brain.
They didn't even
Someone's
wear
got to
helmets
save the
until,
hockey
like,
guys
40
from
years ago.
themselves because
Seriously?
yeah,
it's like hardo
Yeah, they're
mentality.
just like too cool.
Like it's like you're not tougher than the blade. Like I don't get that mentality around
Mhm.
that, especially the neck. Because I mean
Yeah,
they're covered. Like I mean their hands are covered.
All the Canadian players, when they come down to play college hockey, like they get made fun of for wearing neck protectors. That's like
That's insane.
a banter about Canadian players. That's like because they always show up to practice with a neck protector the first day, and they're all like, "Oh, you don't have to do that here."
I just do not understand why you wouldn't. Oh,
Well,
God.
because you want to be cool.
Yeah,
yeah.
it'd be tough.
Don't
But
wear a mouthpiece. Don't wear a visor. Don't wear a helmet. Hockey goalies used to not wear face masks.
That's just so
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They are insane though.
that's so crazy though to not think to yourself, hey, maybe I should wear a face mask if I'm playing goalie in hockey. Those
Yeah.
guys, yeah, that's crazy. I'm gonna say it. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It rocks, but it's stupid.
Yeah. I mean,
All right,
think
what
about
el-
how many people like wouldn't wear helmets at all in hockey because they used to not have to wear helmets.
Yeah, yeah.
There was like
no.
that one super old dude who was the last guy to not wear a helmet in hockey.
Yeah, you got grandfathered in. If you were like,
Yeah.
if you didn't used to wear a helmet, then you didn't have to anymore.
Hockey just doesn't make sense in my brain.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
It's literally dudes flying around on knives.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like,
So fun though.
All right, what else we got to get into today?
Tennessee Minute?
Tennessee Minute. Big T, Tennessee Minute, hit me.
The Tennessee Minute is brought to you by Pie Wine, which was created to go with your pizza. Slightly sweet, slightly sparkling, and the first official drink of pizza. Unlike canned seltzers, each can of Pie Wine equals 2 glasses of wine with an alcohol percent between 10.5 and 13.5. That's good stuff. Pizza becomes a pizza party very quickly. It was featured on Shark Tank. Mark Cuban and Mr. Wonderful loved it. The Sharks know what's up. Now you do too. When you think pizza, you need to think Pie Wine, the OG pizza wine. Even if you don't like wine, this stuff is a little different. I generally don't like wine. I like Pie Wine a lot. It's very good. 3 flavors. There's the world famous red, sweet za, sparkling white, and classic crisp dry white. Mix and match with your favorite style of pizza, whatever you want. They've got those different flavors for you. Pie Wine, pizza's new side piece. Visit piewine.com. Big win. Well, kind of a big win. Beat Kentucky as we have 36 of the last 39 years. That's just what happens. These are my favorite Kentucky wins, though, when they actually believe they're going to win. We've gotten a few, like last year, they actually thought they were going to win. That one, obviously, 44-6, a little bit different than this game the other day. But good win. Went on the road. Finally, played decently well on the road. Joe Milton was good, and got UConn this week. So
Tough game.
yeah, a nice get guys healthy, get them ready to go, and then it's Missouri, probably the biggest game of the year. And then if you can win that one, you go into Georgia with 2 losses, with theoretically a chance to still potentially win the SEC East if Georgia trips up against Ole Miss or I don't know what their one other SEC game is, but they're not losing twice. They look nasty again.
Yeah,
but great win for the Vols this week. Joe played well, and we've got a chance to, finish. You still have a chance at 10-2.
You kind of control your own destiny a little bit. In that, if you beat Georgia, it's a resounding success of a season.
Absolutely.
No
for
matter
sure.
what. No matter what else happens. Like, if Georgia has one loss this year, and that one loss is Tennessee, for you, that's a big time dub.
Even 9-3, it would be annoying if the losses were Georgia, Florida, Alabama, but 9-3 with this team, with the injuries they've had and everything, would be a successful year for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So beat Missouri, which is going to be a huge game, and then see what happens.
Soften UConn up a little bit for us.
Yeah, I think we're a 35-point favorite. I kind of love UT in that spot, but we'll see.
All right.
UConn played my play of the week last week was Boston College -14, and UConn held them to a 7-point win.
All right.
BC finished. They kneeled the ball on like the 3-yard line at the end of the game. It was
that's tough.
demoralizing.
If you're a college head coach, especially at a school like BC, you have to know what the spread is.
Well, what was bullshit was they were running plays with like 2 minutes left. UConn had no timeouts at like the 8. And then they got the first down with like 45 seconds left or whatever. They could have been kneeling the ball before that.
Right.
And then they kneeled it at the 3.
You have to know what the spread is. You
Agreed.
have to make the alumni happy, right?
Agreed.
That's like
Josh Heupel has several times. He'll say it's unintentional. He has tried to cover.
Yeah, I think like there's nothing wrong with a coach doing that.
I
knowing
agree.
what the spread is and knowing that the people that will be the ones that will call for your job if they're not happy with you, you want to keep those people happy for as long as possible. And they're all betting on you.
And like, people who bet on just every game who bet on Tennessee, you cover for them. Now they're friendly to you and more favorable
Yeah.
in the media, things like that.
Yep. And if you
It's a smart
bet
thing to
against
do.
them, then you'll hate them.
Yep.
And good, because they were never believers in the first place.
Agreed.
You can still lose though trying to cover.
Yeah, I guess if
And-
BC had thrown like a pick six.
Yes,
at
in
the
a spot
3-yard
like
line,
that, they should have been kneeling before they were, actually. But whatever.
Yeah.
Like, for example, that's why Patrick Mahomes took a knee against the Jets
Yep, had them
after he
too.
got the first down.
Mm-hmm.
Because hypothetically, if he had scored that touchdown, the Jets could have scored when they got the ball back with like 15 seconds and then just onside kicked and gotten the ball back to try to win. It's like it's so like low percentage of it happening, but it still can't happen.
Can we make onside kick relevant again? Because I feel like we haven't seen an onside kick get recovered in years.
You want 10 guys on one side of the ball?
I don't know, but
What was the rule before? Did you have to have any on the other side? I honestly don't remember.
I don't know what the rules were before, but now you have to split up your guys evenly on
5
each
and
side,
5, yeah.
and you can only get a 5-yard run up to it, so you can't get a 10-yard run up to it. And so it makes it a lot more difficult for the offense to recover. The Bears almost had one last night. They should have had one last night, actually. But we haven't gotten an onside kick recovered. I feel like it's been 3 years. I'm probably wrong. I don't know. I'm talking about the NFL and college football. I just feel like it used to happen. It wasn't all the time, but it was way, way more frequent than it is right now.
Do you want to do the like 4th and 20 thing?
4th and 20 is not a bad idea. You get one play, or I've been trying to tell coaches there's probably a legal loophole to this, but if you do a drop kick on an onside kick, that's what they do in rugby on their kickoffs every single time. You can get under it and just sky the ball.
I've always wondered why more guys don't do that, because they're kicking it. Well, normally they like lay it on the tee, like on the ground where it's touching the tee, and they try to like squib it or whatever.
Yeah.
But why do guys not just sky it way up in the air?
You can fair catch it.
Yeah.
You can
Okay,
call for
that's
a
why
fair
then.
catch, and then there's fair catch interference. I don't know if you can fair catch a drop kick or not. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that because the ball has already hit the ground. You might be able to fair catch a drop kick, or you could just like slam it back down into the ground on a drop kick and try to get a good bounce. But it feels like they've taken away the beauty of the onside kick from us, and I'm not happy about that.
Yeah, it's definitely way more rare.
I mean, the easiest way in high school was just to, even if you weren't going to kind of be able to catch the onside kick, just wave it and fair catch it. And then someone's just going to hit you after, because no high school kid on an onside kick is paying attention to whether someone's doing a fair catch signal.
Mm-hmm.
Easiest way to ensure you get the ball.
You ensure you get the ball and you also get blown up.
You're going to get killed, but our coaches are always like, if it's up, just like fair catch it, but you're going to get killed, but we'll get the ball.
Wouldn't it be a cool rule change if there was like when a fair catch was called, anybody could catch it? So you just sky a punt up, and then your own gunner can run down there, catch the ball, and then you retain possession. That'd be sick.
That completely negates the point
Yeah.
of the fair catch.
Yeah.
But sure.
Just
Or if they
make
don't
it like
fair
a
catch.
50-50 ball.
Yeah, make it 50. Yeah, send Randy Moss down there and just jump up for it. That's kind of Australian rules football.
Huh.
That's the premise of it. All right, but we got anything else we want to get into today? You teed off about anything, Big T?
I feel like there was one, and I usually write them down, and I didn't write it down, and now I don't remember.
Arian,
So I guess I'm not too teed off if I don't remember it.
are you 8 off about anything? 8 up?
Yeah, man, a little bit. I was watching John Oliver.
Mhm.
I think his team does a really good research, and he went into like chocolate because it's Halloween season, and he was kind of like breaking down how, and it goes back to my quarrels with capitalism, but he broke down how like chocolate is produced, and I think he says like 60% of the world's chocolate is made from like 2 of these countries in Africa, and how they get the cocoa plant is like it's like this like white gooey substance that's like cracked open from a shell, and they have to like ferment it, and all of that process is done by mostly children. And they break down like all the semantics of it and all the reasons as to why. And then there was a dude that was doing like investigative journalism about it, and he contacted a representative for Hershey, and he goes well, the reason why those children are doing all this labor is because their parents are extremely poor, so like we're helping them out. And he goes, well, why are they poor? It's because of the low wages. The low wages that we pay them for getting the cocoa leaf. And he just hung up. He said, okay, I gotta go. It was fucking fascinating little journalistic endeavor, but it's infuriating because I mean there's a big season for like chocolate and candy and stuff like that, and it just goes to like the continuing ails of capitalism, which is exploiting the worker. And when it comes to like third world countries, it's in heightened, and we kind of always just turn a blind eye to it, from cell phones to batteries to you name it. Third world country like exploitation is a very big problem.
So I always thought that cocoa came from South America.
It comes from a wide variety.
Yeah, but I didn't know that it was like an African source for like candy and all that shit.
Yeah, well, it's the plant. He's like, I think they say like 60%. A lot of it. I could be wrong on my figures, but
Because
a lot of it comes.
That's probably the cheapest place to get it. That's why it's so widespread there, and companies will buy from there because they don't have to pay marked up like fair trade prices. Fair trade chocolate was a big issue in 3rd grade. We had a whole unit about fair trade chocolate.
Yeah, so did I.
You know what? I'm not going to give candy to kids in my neighborhood this year. Sorry. There'd be blood on their hands.
Give them Jehovah's Witness pamphlets.
I was going to say, I'll just give them like a folded up piece of paper about actually why chocolate is bad. You shouldn't eat it. I'll give them toothbrushes.
So do the kids here have to suffer just because overseas we disagree with it?
Shut the fuck up. That is the craziest shit. Shut up.
What would be worse?
That they shouldn't
Aaron?
eat chocolate?
Kids, nigga, it's just a dumbass thing to say. It's like a dumbass thing. Why the fuck would you say some stupid ass shit like that? People here
stupid.
suffer because niggas getting exploited in slave labor.
No, but like
niggas like cotton shirts, bro. It is what it is.
Well, Aaron, what's worse? Kids being gainfully employed, learning the responsibilities of going to work and providing for your family and getting money to spend on trinkets and goods and services around the neighborhood, or a kid in America not getting a Three Musketeers?
Yo, there was a funny ass interview. So there's like English nigga come down to one of the African villages, and he sits down to like all these villagers, and he goes, "Have you guys ever had chocolate?" And they go, "No." And so it's like 30 motherfuckers in the room, bro. And he goes, "Have you ever had chocolate?" He goes, "No." And so he's okay, I'm gonna give you chocolate for the first time. And like he tastes it. He goes, "Oh my God, this is delicious. This is so good. This is a good thing to eat." And the guy goes, "That's your cocoa leaf." It's just so tone deaf. It's just so tone deaf. You gotta see that shit. It's fucking wild, dog. It's wild.
You should meet kids at the door and explain to them why chocolate is bad, and have them and see if they give the chocolate to you. You could reverse trick or treat.
Yeah. I
Give
like
me your
that.
chocolate. Give me your
Give it to
chocolate
me.
back.
You don't want to be a murderer, do you? Give me your chocolate. I'm gonna send it back.
Come here, son. Let me tell you about capitalism and how it exploits workers.
There was one like guy in the neighborhood that would always have. He was a dentist, so he would always hand out a toothbrush on Halloween. Kids hated that guy.
That's actually wild though. Like he's a good ass dude.
That's so dumb. Like, it would be good for your business to be the dentist who gives out the best candy, and
Yeah.
then be like, all the kids would be like, Mom, we got to go to this dentist. Like, he's the man.
Yeah, I agree. It is bad for business. You're hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You see a kid with braces. Here, take some more Starburst.
Yeah.
Here, have Bazooka Joe, kid. You want Skittles? All right. I was playing golf on Friday. This was just the most ridiculous thing ever. On Friday, Hank and I were out playing 18. We had a caddy, and this kid comes up, and he's like 16 years old. And I took a Lucy out of my pocket, and he was like, "What is that? 3 milligram?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Look at me. I got 6s." And then he just opens his mouth up, and he's got braces, and he's got nicotine pouches in between every brace on his top and on his bottom. He's just using them as like
What?
he's holding them in place with his braces, and he's 16, and he's like calling me a pussy. It was insane. It was so funny.
Well, shout out to that then.
Yeah. Shout out Lucy. Love Lucy. All right. Anything else that we want to get into today before we head out? We're gonna have Donnie on for a little bit on Wednesday because Donnie and Billy have a big trip to Uganda coming up, and so we want to talk to Donnie about what he's got planned over there. Should be a good one.
We have a lot of plans, and I want to wait for Donnie to be here to talk about it, but it is going to be quite the time. Where
That's where my best friend from.
Uganda?
My best friend in the whole world. Like, he from it. Like,
Oh, nice.
yeah.
If he
Kampala.
has any wrecks, we're going to Kampala.
Oh, that's where he from. Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the it's the capital.
They know his name over there. He's well known over there. Like, he's a Lukanga. Say you know a Lukanga.
Lukanga.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll check it out.
Shout out.
But
to him.
the main aim of the trip is to help Uganda beat Kenya in football, American football.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff. Maybe I'll mention a little bit about it before, but like,
What are
there's
they
a
Like
lot
called?
of stuff-
Michigan, Ohio State
What?
of Africa.
Do they just call
like
it American football? Because I know everywhere else they call football soccer. What do they call it?
I guess American football is the way because they just call it football is soccer. And since it was a British colony, I'm pretty sure they probably refer to it as football.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is an African American football team.
Yes. It's an African American football league.
Yep. Love it.
But it's very interesting what small things we take for granted when it comes to football that foreigners have no idea about. But like, if you teach them, it just makes them so much better in a very short period of time. My buddy who played over in Italy has been sharing some of the coaching stuff he did in Italy that is like, you wouldn't think to teach players this because it's just so ingrained to us growing up playing the game. Like the idea of angles of pursuit is something that they just don't have a concept of because there's no other sport that they grew up playing that involves chasing someone down besides rugby, but like from a football positioning.
So Billy, what we have to figure out, you and Donnie should talk about this. I want to introduce something like the turnover chain, like a turnover prop for Uganda. So think about what you could bring with you and be like, you get to wear this if you recover a fumble or you make an interception. I want to do a turnover thing over there.
Perfect.
All right, so that's your assignment.
It was the last game between Kenya and Uganda was 6-0 and Kenya won. So this is a revenge game.
Okay, throw out the record books when these two teams get together. No love lost. Also, teach their running backs to do the Arian Foster bow when they score a touchdown.
That would be. Should we to honor Arian do the Buddha bow, but then like teach them like this guy's like a god
Well, it's to
in
honor
American football.
It's to honor the
Not
game
bad.
of football.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's like a
All right.
patron saint of American football.
I love that. I love that.
And
This
then
team's
and
gonna
then tell
be
them to kneel for the national anthem.
awesome.
I actually know because they're going to be playing their own national anthem, and I do not want
No,
to.
you should
get
play
involved.
the U.S.
corruption in that
You
government.
should play the U.S. national anthem before every game over there.
Kneel.
Purposely play the American anthem just so they can kneel for it.
Yeah,
It's
that'd be lit.
American football.
That'd be lit.
I had one more thing I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
And I just sent it to the group. Arian, I just wanted for you to explain to me your Instagram story yesterday. It's you sitting on a bridge and the text just says on a bridge. And I loved it. And I just wanted to know what the purpose was.
I mean, I was on the bridge.
I figured that's as much as there was to it. But
I was gonna put a nigga on a bridge, but it's
It's like
too much typing.
we was in Paris.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
I
okay,
mean,
that's awesome. Also, one more thing I did
you
forget
got a
to
good
mention
picture
it.
though. That's a good picture.
No, it's
right?
good. Yeah.
I'm the most unphotogenic human being on earth, though. Like they was trying to take pictures of me and shit. I'm like, yo, this is whack. I can't do it. Posing is hard. Shout out to models. That shit is not easy, dog. Like posing for a photo shoot is hard.
Posed with the dog one time though. That turned out well.
It's
They
true.
photoshopped that nigga in, bro. He was not in the room with me.
Didn't you also?
Really?
Is
Was
that
there
true?
another picture of Arian with like a
I don't
lion
know.
or something? Or am I making that up?
It was a horse.
A horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was
And they
that
put
real?
The horse was real.
The dog wasn't though.
I fuck with horses though. I don't fuck with dogs.
You fuck with horses?
I mean, as much as anybody fucks with horses, yeah.
Do you ride them?
I have rode horses in there. I think I told a story on the podcast where
Yeah.
like I was 12 and my mom sent me to my grandma's, and my grandma had a boyfriend named Jim, and this nigga used to like herd cattle for a living, and so I stayed with him like 2 weeks in the just in the wilderness, I guess. Yeah, we would just like camp from site to site, riding horses, moving cattle, and I had no idea about horses. And this nigga was just like, "Go ride," and I was like, "All right." Appreciate him though. He
Oh, yeah.
did. R.I.P. Jim.
Yeah, that's
Do you
why
have
it
any
would've been so
horses?
great in Yellowstone.
Did I have any horses?
Yeah.
Nigga, we didn't have lights. How the fuck am I have a horse?
No. I'm saying like, do you currently have any horses?
What am I doing with a horse?
I don't know. Ride it if you fuck with horses.
Yeah, okay. I don't like leaving my house.
Maybe you would on a horse.
Just riding down the street, just ran to go to grocery store.
Or you could
That'd
It's
be pretty
legal,
cool.
actually. I think it's
Yeah.
legal in Texas. You can ride around the streets with a horse.
you could put in
Yeah.
races.
Oh, you know what beat me off a little? When I was in Austin, I went to Austin like when I was 12 or when I was much younger. I think it was like 8 or 9. Don't exactly remember, but like I remember it was my first time going to Texas and being anywhere in that part of the country, and getting off the plane, everyone in the airport was wearing cowboy hats. And I was like, oh shit, like Texas is really the fantasy cowboy land that it's
That's
been
the-
described.
That's the best way to describe it. Fantasy cowboy land.
Yeah. And then
And
I
a lot of
went to-
cowboys. A lot of people thinking they're cowboys, though.
yeah, like everyone's wearing hats and it's like, what the fuck? Like people do this shit and like they have accents and some of them are carrying guns. Like it's literally the Wild West.
Motherfuckers do be carrying guns, though.
Mhm.
Then I went to Austin this weekend and it was like no cowboy hats. And I was like, damn, like it really has changed.
In Austin, there's no cowboy hats?
Like when I got off, like when I was in the airport like 10 years ago and I got off the plane and there was like tons of people wearing cowboy hats. And I was like, holy shit, this is so cool. Then I got off the plane in Austin this time and I was like, what did Joe Rogan do to this place? There's
Well,
nobody in cowboy hats.
Austin's L.A. with barbecue. I mean, Austin ain't Texas.
Austin's got some very Texas parts
True.
to it.
It
There's
was,
there's
but
some
like it
yuppie
used to be
parts
like
for
10 years
sure.
ago when I first went there.
There's some
But
yuppie
I'm-
parts to Austin for sure, but there's still some like very old school Texas parts.
It wasn't Joe Rogan. It was like the boom. There's a lot of tech industry over there in Austin. And so, like, naturally, wherever the tech spaces are, progressivism happens.
Mm.
It becomes kind of California.
Yep. Tech and avocado toast. They
There
go
you go.
together.
Did you go looking for Elon, Billy?
No, I didn't have time.
Does
I
he
was
live
working
in
really hard.
Austin now?
Yeah.
Fucking dweeb.
Shout out Elon. X.com has become it's way less usable than it used to be.
Worse.
You just have to sift through just the lamest replies ever to get to anybody that knows what they're talking about. Because everyone's trying to monetize it. Everyone's just trying to make money off it.
Yeah.
You get another check, Bill?
Oh yeah.
How
How much we
much?
working with?
Let's not pocket watch.
Respectable. I like that check. Talk that shit, Billy.
That means it's not a lot.
Yeah. So
I know it's not that much.
yeah. So the checks were way bigger when he first put them out there, so that he would get people talking about how much money they were making on it. And then I don't know. It's not publicly available like how much money you get
No.
per interaction. It's just depending on cash flow, kind of what Elon feels at that given moment.
I think it went up recently because basically what they did is the first check was actually not for the half-month period that it now was. The first check was for the whole year up to that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
$200.
what do you mean?
I think your last one was like $200, right?
Yeah. But it's now, I also have been like looking at what works and trying to like, just because if I'm spending so much time on Twitter, I might as well, gear it to get paid for the most time. You know what I'm saying? So
What works, Billy?
captioning videos.
Misinformation works.
Yeah.
There's so many people that are putting out videos of shit that happened like 5 years ago and saying, "Look what's happening right now." It's
Yeah.
everywhere. That shit goes viral all the time.
He just put out though that if your post gets a community note, that it will automatically be demonetized though.
Okay.
So he said
Yeah.
he doesn't want to monetize sensationalism.
All right. I guess that's a good step.
I actually think that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
But the last check was I don't know if my interactions were up or he's paying more for it, but the last check was way more than the previous couple. I don't think I was doing more or less.
I think he's
It
got
But I also-
fluctuates.
I also just passed 300K on Twitter, but it was going up and down weirdly because I think he's like going after bots and whatnot. So that may have like put me in a different level of payment structure. I don't know.
I think he's got his eye on Billy. I think he's like, this kid's going places.
I like
I want to
the
be
cut
in
of
the
this
Billy
guy's jib.
football business.
But
All right.
yeah, so reactionary video commentary tends to go hard on Twitter.
That's good. I'm glad. Reactionary videos.
And posting George Bush's first pitch after 9/11 when he had his first pitch recently. That went pretty hard.
You should transpose his first pitch with when Buddy threw the shoe at him. That would be fucking funny.
That was a great clip, like a solid clip for old W when he dodged the shoe.
Yeah,
Great reaction time on him there.
he did his thing.
He did his thing.
Also, insane football play coming out of D3 football. John Hopkins was lining up for a kick to win the game against Muhlenberg, and the kicker kicked it right to the tight end, who then scored a touchdown.
that can happen.
Don't think it was on purpose.
You can catch a field goal.
No, it got blocked.
Oh,
I don't think it got blocked.
Yeah, it did. You
I
can't
don't think you can
catch
catch
your
a
own
in
field
advance.
goal.
It literally
well-
was kicked right to him.
I'm watching it right now. I'm going to give you live commentary on it. Okay, he's lined up.
I
Here's
thought
the
the
snap.
defense could kick it. Well,
The kick is up. It's definitely blocked.
hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't.
that
I
guy
think it was
runs it in.
kicked right to him, but may have hit somebody else.
I don't
in
think the offense
second.
can advance a field goal. The defense
Yeah, the kick-
can, but
The
the
kick
offense
was
cannot.
definitely blocked.
Like you can't even advance an onside kick.
It was a combination of a very terrible kick that then was touched by the defense before it got into this guy's hands.
It
That's
was blocked.
That's
The kick was 100% blocked.
Yeah, but he kicked it directly into the line. It wasn't like a good kick.
Just
that
say it was
needed to
blocked.
be
Here you
blocked.
go.
Correct.
again,
It was
my nigga.
it
Just
was
say
a
it was
bad it was a bad short kick. It was low and it was blocked. And then the tight
Yeah.
end grabbed it and ran it in. Yeah.
Oh, that
It just
Billy.
almost looked purposeful.
It was definitely not purposeful, but it was
I know.
smooth. It was crazy. All right. Well, that does it for Nanodosing.
wait. I
Yep.
wanted to mention
Okay.
one more
Yep.
thing. I meant to mention this in the Tennessee Minute. We had our first basketball exhibition yesterday. Beat Michigan State on the road. No big deal. we have the most exciting white player in college basketball. Did you watch the video I sent?
I just saw that video. Yeah.
His name's Dalton Connect. He's a transfer from Northern Colorado. He's fucking unreal. He had 28 yesterday, and also that unreal dunk. He's a monster. I love this guy.
Dalton Connect.
He's
That's a
the
fucking
definition
name.
of
That is a name right there.
Yeah, he's the definition of exciting whites.
Okay.
He is white b-ball success personified.
I saw Cooper Flagg just committed to Duke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's white guy basketball names. That has to be up there. Tyler Hero. That's up
Mhm.
there. Oh, white chocolate though. He got the best nickname of all time.
Yeah, Jason Williams. Cooper Flagg, the cover of what magazine was it?
Slam.
Of Slam. It said
Slam.
joins the Brotherhood, because that's what they call themselves at
Yeah.
Duke. It's the Brotherhood.
Yep.
But when you see the Great White Hope joins the Brotherhood, a lot of questions get asked.
Oh,
That headline.
Then did you see the picture of him with the burning trident?
I did not see that one. No.
Yeah, it looks like something
Eerily similar.
clannish.
Yeah.
Cooper Flagg is a great player. I've seen a lot of highlights of him. He is legit. He's gonna be really good, and he's gonna make it very tough to root against Duke because he's fun. But I think just based on the hair, you have to have like a certain like flop to your hair to be truly hated as a Duke basketball player, and you have to have like a certain smile. Cooper might work his way into being very, very hated. But as of right now, I will reluctantly cheer for Cooper Flagg at Duke University because he's a very good player and fun to watch.
Ooh.
Oh,
Arian, what do you think about Wemby? Have you seen Wemby yet?
Yeah, that motherfucker problem. If he stay healthy, that motherfucker problem. He looks so brittle though. Like a step, he gonna snap something.
Yeah.
But he a
He
problem
has-
for sure.
He has the longest humerus bone. That's from like your shoulder to your elbow. That's the longest upper arm that I've ever seen in my life.
He's a problem. Length, can shoot, dribble, quick, tall as fuck. That's a problem, though.
Yeah, he is a problem. All right, we will see you guys on Thursday. We're going to record on Wednesday. See you guys on Thursday. Donnie's going to be joining us a little bit to give some background info on Uganda, and I do want to know what the turnover prop is going to be, Billy. So that's your assignment.
hell yeah.
Talk to Donnie about
Should it be something American or something Ugandan?
it. It should be something cool.
Hmm.
Preferably Ugandan, because it's going to be
Yeah.
or have some relationship to Uganda football. I don't know. Be creative. Be creative with it, Billy.
Yeah, we'll find it.
Something that they'll like, that they'll be proud to put on after making a big play.
All right.
All right. See you then. Love you guys.
Mm.